Okay, so here's what we're going to try to do. So this is Homestead in June, and let's go down the front straight. So going into turn one here, what we want to do is we want to be, there's an orange box right there. So you see this orange box right here. We want to be inside this box. That means we can go through there, we can go through that section of the racetrack, and we have all of this asphalt to use to our benefit. Where if we're out wide there, we get close to these cones, and if we miss our brake marker, we're carrying too much speed going into the corner, what have you, we end up going wide and we end up out in the grass. So when you come down into turn one, look for that orange box, and we want to be inside the box. So I know where it is. I've seen it a million times, but you can be inside close to these rumble strips. It is bumpy through here, but as long as you're not carrying lean angle, you get the motorcycle upright, go over all those bumps without an issue. So definitely want to be in there shallow. Here, I would say we want to be set up. We already want to be set up going into this corner. I want to set up as early as possible. So I should have my lower body should already be off the motorcycle. Wow, my pencil's not working here. I want to be off the motorcycle, hips, shoulders, head, pulling motorcycle into the corner. I want to be set up before I get there, because what I don't want to be doing is setting up as I notice how you start adding lean angle, right? You're already leaning, and now you're moving your body off the motorcycle. That's going to upset the chassis. As you get faster, it's going to be more and more important that you're smooth on those entries. It's okay now, but as you get faster, and that's obviously the goal, I don't want to be upsetting the chassis as I'm adding lean angle. So I want to have my body position all set up before I start to turn the motorcycle. So let's go a little further. Now what I would say is, at this point, actually let's back up a hair. I want to be, wish I could zoom this in some. You moved lower body over, but your shoulders are kind of pointed up this way. I want to be going with the motorcycle this way. I don't want to be fighting it. I want to be leading it through the corner. Like, come on, you're going with me. So if the motorcycle is here, my body would be here. I want to pull the motorcycle with me through the corner. I don't want to fight it. You're keeping the upper body tall on the motorcycle, up high. Work with it instead of against it. That'll help. You'll notice the motorcycle turns a lot faster that way. The first time you do it, you're going to be like, holy cow, that motorcycle really turned. And that's a good thing. That's what we want. Good, 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 good. All this is good. Could be a little tighter here, but that's nitpicking. My goal is typically to clip that little point right there. I'm going to clip it on the entry, and at that point I'm coming inside tight to the rumble strip, and then I start picking up the throttle so that as I leave the corner on the exit, I can clip this corner here. Hopefully that makes sense. So I went from the outside, I went in tight to the rumble strips, then pick up the throttle, and then I hit this point. Outside, inside, outside. So hopefully that makes sense. You clipped it there, which is my goal. That's what I'm aiming for. But you kind of rode that line. And I would like to clip it on the entry right there, pull the motorcycle tighter to the rumble strip, and then using the gas to clip that inside trailing edge on the exit. Hopefully that makes sense. Let's keep going. You don't have to be so wide for 4, but that's fine. And then same thing here. Same exact thing. I want to clip this corner. I want to clip this corner. Come on. And then I'm using this angle. I'm coming into the corner. And that's with my tires. If you're leaned over, if this is where you're seeing if this is where your tires are, then your head is going to be, your head's going to be over here. Well, let me write on it for some reason. Because I clicked the eraser. My head would be in here, right, as I'm leaned over. So the red line would be my tires. I'm going to clip that leading edge. Then I get tighter to the rumble strip, tight to the rumble strip, and then I'm going to clip this edge on the exit as I pick up the gas. So my goal here is I'm picking up the throttle here. This right here is where this straightaway starts. I want to be as aggressive as I'm willing to be from this point all the way down to turn 6. I want to be on the gas. Let me use this as an example. If I can pull the motorcycle back to the right, I wasn't using enough throttle, because the throttle is going to want to drive the motorcycle this way, and I'm trying to pull the motorcycle to the right. If I can get to the right, I could have been more aggressive on the throttle, which would have brought me right through the middle, and that's my goal. I'm on a big bike, so it has a bunch of power, but I'm trying to almost wheelie up over this rumble strip. See how I'm here? That's my goal. And then it's gas, 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 gas. As aggressive as you're willing to be on the throttle, gas, 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 gas. All right, looks like I went past here. I think I skipped to another clip. Okay, this is you again. Look at that, same spot, turn 6. All right, let's stop here. Let's roll back a little bit. So same thing on the patches. Everybody hates the patches, but the good thing is they're good reference points. Here's that point again. I want to come inside this point, or clip the point, and then I'm inside the patch, close to the rumble strips. So my knee is out here, my head is in the grass, my tires are running through here. I want to clip this corner on the entry, and then I'm inside the patch. I did a bad job of it there, so bad on me. But if I was doing it right, I would have clipped this point down here, and then I would be inside the rumble strip, and then as I pick up the gas, it's going to drive the motorcycle to that point there, which is this point right here. This is the point I'm aiming for on the exit, on the throttle as I leave, because I was in tight, but as I give it gas, it drives the motorcycle wide as I leave the corner. Because my goal is, as I pick up the gas, I want to be out here. So you're in tight for 7. The tighter you enter 7, the sharper this turn is going to be. Versus I'm out wide, this is a straighter shot through 7. You're going to have to add a bunch of lean angle to navigate that. I won't. So I want to use the throttle to drive me out here. I want to get on the rumble strips, and I know that even if I were to misjudge it and I run a little wide, I have rumble strip and I even have asphalt. That if I run wide, it's not a big deal. It's not going to hurt me. So I want to use the gas to drive me out here to this line, which not only speeds up your exit and makes you faster through this little section of racetrack, but also sets you up better for turn 7. So it's twofold. Now here, I kind of missed this too, but I want to get in tight to this rumble strip. I want to be in here tight, and then same thing, gas, gas, gas. So ideally, I would use my throttle to drive me out here on the throttle, use all of the racetrack I'm comfortable using, and then as I get down to the racetrack, it kind of looks like crap the way I did that. Let's back that up. As I get further down the racetrack, I'm going to naturally move my way back to the right as I get further down into turn 8. I should splice in some video from like a race or something. All right. You set up earlier for this, which I like. You're set up before you initiate any turn in, so that's good. So let's see. You keep the shoulders pretty high. Get the upper body down. So the deeper you get into the corner, the deeper you should get into the motorcycle. So this line here of your shoulders, the further you get into the corner, the lower this line should get into the corner. You get lower as the motorcycle gets lower going into the corner. And then same thing. I want to clip that inside point there. And now I want to be inside. I would like to be closer to the rumble strip. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm probably paying attention to you or the other guy out there. But I want to be inside this patch. Inside the patch. And then gas on the exit. See how the gas is going to drive me out here? You're in all the way to the left. Use the gas to drive you out on the exit. All right, turn 10. Turn 10, we want to be wide. So see that there's cones in the fence on our right. See these cones? I want to be as close to that wall as I'm comfortable being. Same thing like I discussed in turn 7. When you're going to get up to turn 10 and have to navigate that turn, the shallower you are, you're either going to have to drop more speed or you're going to have to add more lean angle to navigate that turn. When compared to being out wide, you would have a nice wide entry into turn 10. You could carry more speed and or less lean angle to get through that same corner. So make it a practice to get out really wide for turn 10. And then I like to tell people, you see this transition between the banking and the apron right here. For novice, it's a pretty good practice to just run this over. So go from the wall, like we just talked about a second ago, right? I should be wide up against the wall. Now we just passed somebody, so I don't want to jump in front of that person. But ideally, I would be up against the wall, and then I'm going to clip this. I'm going to clip this point on an angle that's bringing me down like this. So rather than being pointed up like that, I would have started out wider and I would be pointed up the racetrack instead of right now, you and I both are pointed off the racetrack, where I want to be pointed. When I get to this rumble strip, I want to be pointed up the racetrack, not off the racetrack. Let's see how we do. See how you have to add a bunch of lean angle right there? Ideally, I don't want to be adding lean angle. That's the most dangerous section of this, or most dangerous part of this section. I don't want to be adding lean angle at that point. Same thing, get nice and wide here. As wide as you're comfortable. Get inside that patch. And it's not because there's anything wrong with the patch and the dry. Those patches are fine. But it gives you more asphalt. That's more real estate you have to work with. And the more real estate you have, the faster you can go. That should be the limiting factor of how fast you're going, is how much real estate you have. So when I'm leaving turn 11, I use the gas. See how I gas it coming out of here? And you kind of don't. You kind of sit to the left. This is a little straightaway. Gas it coming out of there, because this is turn 12. This is slow. This is the slowest section of the racetrack. Taking a wide entry into 12 really doesn't have a big benefit. You could take that wide entry into 10 and into 7, but the probably the least beneficial corner for you to have a wide entry is this one, because you immediately flip from one side to the other. So having a nice wide entry makes for great exits. This exit doesn't go anywhere. It immediately flips to the other side. So getting that wide entry doesn't really help you any, but getting a nice fast exit out of here does give you some benefit. You can carry some mile per hour going into turn 12 here, and then hit the brakes, shed that speed. I don't want you to increase the corner speed. I want you to increase the straightaway speed. The other thing I want to point out is look at your body position. You're sitting straight up and down on the motorcycle. This is a fairly dangerous corner because it requires significant amount of lean angle through both 12 and 13. And notice how you're sitting straight up and down. Get that butt off that seat. And then I think I passed you. I think that's it. Well, I hope that was helpful, and I hope to see you at the next track day. Have a good one.